Hello, Aries. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's see what the next 7 days have in store for you. What's going on for Aries? Aries. What does Aries need to know? We have correct your mistakes with admit your vulnerabilities on the bottom of the deck. It takes a lot of courage, right? It is a very vulnerable thing to take accountability, to look in the mirror and say, you know what, this is on me. I messed up. It was probably not the right thing to do or the right thing to say or not the right path to take, whatever the case is, right? To be able to look at self, to look at the ego and integrate that ego and transcend that ego takes a lot of courage. And honestly, that is one of the evolutionary paths being an Aries, right? And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm an Aries sun myself, okay? It is a part of understanding what it means to be comfortable with your identity, with your mind, with your heart, all versions, all parts of yourself, and to admit that sometimes you're not perfect, right? Sometimes you're not the best, or feeling the best or acting the best. Yeah, I think that this is kind of, so far we're getting the idea here that maybe this week is a week of, okay, I'm not feeling the best and I'm not doing the best, so maybe I should correct those errors and open up to admitting that. Again, accountability. It's a week of accountability, it seems like. All right. And that, remember, that also comes with forgiving self, right? Because maybe a mistake that you made was not, we got two cards here. Maybe a mistake that you made put you in a position where now you're like, well, now I can't trust myself, right? Now I don't even know what I should do or what I want to do, because if I did that and that went wrong and that went horribly, then what's the next thing that's going to happen? I'm going to do that again. So remember to forgive yourself as well. Bottom of the deck for this one, be devoted and committed to Sage. Definitely keep up with your spiritual routines this week, okay? Keep up with that. Don't make excuses and say, I didn't have time, right? We all do that. For me, I get it. Life goes a million miles an hour. This is just the world that we live in nowadays. Everything is, quick, quick, quick. So do it in the moment. Take deep breaths. Put your hand on your heart space. You get the drill. Snake, shed old skin. Again, you're kind of moving into a new timeline this week, Aries. You're becoming a new version of self, which requires you to shed old skin. And that could be old versions of yourself that you might not have agreed with, right? Because obviously who you are today and what you're doing now is totally different than who you were 2 years ago and what you did 2 years ago. Even if a lot of the stuff is the same, it's still different, right? Trust in the unknown. Again, that kind of goes hand in hand with the Sage on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, Father Sky here. Spirit. Trust in Spirit. Talk to Spirit. However that, resonates with you. Obviously, it's different for everybody. But if you are shedding old skin and if you are facing the ego and correcting some errors that you made, then it does require a sense of trust in the unknown, right? Because who knows what's going to happen. And it can be scary dealing with the unknown, which again requires more courage, more bravery. So, Aries. Aries. Okay. Well, that's weird I went that way. I don't normally go this way, but that's the way I wanted to go. Well, I can see why. Yeah. Listen, Aries, you're becoming more emotionally mature. You're picking up the pieces, right? Like you're gathering yourself emotionally. You're facing the truth. You're more decisive this week. You're more clear. You're more direct. You're getting your mind in order as well. I love so much when I see temperance and the devil together. For me, these are the counterparts of each other. So I know that you're healing a lot when it comes to the toxic ego. And that's why the devil's coming up right now is ego. We're getting a lot of that on the table about healing the toxic ego. I don't like, if you've been with me for a while, you're going to hear me repeat this a million times. I don't like the term ego death. I don't agree with it. It makes no sense to me. You can't kill the ego and live a human life. Ego is human. So I do prefer integration or transcending the ego, right? Because that makes sense. Working with the ego, living with the ego. It's so weird when you when you're on your spiritual journey and you become aware. It's like almost feels like you're living two different lives, right? Because your ego does things, or your egoic self will say something or do something, and then you look back on it, you're like, wow, that was definitely me and my ego. So you're working through all of that, especially when it has to do with interactions with other people. But your opinions, your viewpoint, your outlook, something about the way that you see the world is going to change this week. And maybe you change your mind on something, because I can kind of see that here. Maybe you're like, I was going to do that. That was a mistake. I'm going to switch gears here, change paths, because that was a path that I might have taken in the past, but I'm going to remember that I'm on a new path and I'm a new person, so I'm going to go down this path. Yeah, so again, a lot of moderation when it comes to the ego, and just kind of trying to choose a celebratory life, to choose to be more in alignment, excuse me, with heart and mind. Yeah. I think you're just kind of clearing the air. And I think you're letting everybody know, to be honest. I think you're letting everybody know. You're not staying quiet about this, which is very, very brave, right? To be courageous enough to not just admit to yourself, but to admit to others, to be like, hey, I messed up. This isn't what I wanted. This isn't whatever. You know what I mean? And then letting everybody else know. There's that Page of Swords again. I think and the devil again. I think that there's definitely a lot of clearing this week of ideas, beliefs, opinions, having conversations with other people, especially in your friend group or just a community thing, community environment. But Page of Swords. I think that you're getting the bigger picture on what there it is, the Hangman, the bigger picture on what's yours to accept and what might be somebody else's to accept. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, a strong sense of understanding, a firm belief in your own animalistic side. That could be, again, that could be part of the devil card, right? Like the own raw, guttural, primal part of ourselves, the draconian part of ourselves that comes out sometimes, and working with that, not controlling it, not forcing it, but just guiding it. I will say that there's definitely an experience this week, an opportunity that satisfies you. It puts you in a position where you can feel truly in a place of contentment. Oh my goodness, I don't know why I'm coughing so much for your reading. And yeah, and I think it comes again from a place of you just change. I think you change your mind on something, Aries. I really do. I think that you have a different opinion on a situation because you realize that the thing that you change your mind on is not going to give you the celebration, is not going to give you the joy, the contentment. So you choose contentment, which is really powerful. You have a clear vision of fertility, growth, abundance. Maybe even motherhood for one person watching right now. The idea of motherhood, being a mother, whatever, or creating something, bringing something into life, birthing a situation, which it could be painful, but that's the thing, right? Like getting true clarity. Yeah, sure. Sometimes it can come weirdly, it can come like instantaneously, but most of the time it takes time and it's painful. Accepting the truth or seeing, you know, getting a clear vision or picture of what's going on or an idea or a decision or whatever is painful sometimes, and it can take a long time. So I think that's what's going on here. But again, you're feeling more whole and complete. You're feeling more, this is acceptance. This is self-acceptance. This is working through self-acceptance and not emotionally doubting yourself or making excuses anymore. You're not making excuses, or you're not, at this point, it's like if something goes wrong, I've done everything I can to the point where I've accepted what is my responsibility and what is my fault. Beyond this is no longer my fault and it's no longer my responsibility because I've done all that I can. That's what I'm seeing here. I love that, Aries. I hope that this helped. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.